Hello and welcome to LMU Community TV News. We hope you're having a great week. I'm Ashley Collingsworth. Thank you for joining us. Following an order issued by President Obama to fly U.S. flags at half-staff on public buildings and grounds, Lincoln Memorial University spent Monday morning lowering all flags across campus. The order issued by President Obama is in memory of the 50 killed at an Orlando, Florida nightclub early Sunday morning. Obama called the shooting that also left 53 injured an act of terror and vowed to dedicate the federal government's full resources to the investigation. 50 people were killed and 53 more were wounded inside the crowded nightclub. Pulse. Omar Mateen, a U.S. citizen from Florida, is suspected in the shooting. He was killed at the scene. Orlando Police Chief John Mina told reporters the suspect had an assault-style rifle and a handgun. The casualty figures at Pulse make it the worst mass shooting incident in U.S. history. It also marks Obama's 20th post-shooting address since becoming president. On Friday, more than 60 students and their families made the trip to the campus of Lincoln Memorial University for New Student Registration Day. Families were treated to breakfast before they were welcomed by Vice President Dr. Clayton Hess and Vice President Dr. Jonathan Leo at the Math and Science Building. Later in the morning, before the family member session, LMU Community TV News was able to grab parents to discuss this transition in their lives. First up, we talked with a mother-daughter team who are preparing to say their goodbye this fall. Tell me about your experience so far this morning here at LMU.
It's been great. We felt very welcome. They had a great presentation in there, and they made the kids feel like that they can come to them for anything, and they really stressed tutoring for the kids and making sure that they keep their grades up.
Okay. So where exactly are you all from, and what prompted you all to choose LMU?
We're from Roswell, Georgia, and my daughter Rachel plays soccer, and Coach Deanna is a great coach, and saw her play and reached out to her, and she's very excited about being part of the team.
Okay. So what is she going into at LMU?
Pre-med biology.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Does she want to continue at LMU and go into DCOM?
That might be something that she does. We don't know. It just depends on how she finishes out her 4 years. So, yes.
So this is a question for both mom and sis. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about being here today, knowing that your daughter is getting ready to go to college?
Oh, I'm sad but happy. I'm sad for, that I'm happy for her for the next stage of life, but I'm sad because I'm losing my baby girl, so. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
I'm excited for her. I think that this is a good experience for her, and this is something she really, really is excited about. So I'm happy that she's getting to do it, and she's getting to play soccer where she wants to. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited.
But you're also sad.
Oh yeah, I'm sad because she's leaving. Yeah.
Next up is a mother from Ohio who tells us that her and her daughter chose LMU due to the size of the campus and its beautiful location. Tell me about your experience so far this morning here at LMU.
It's been very informative. They've been very down to earth and welcoming, and we've learned a lot in the short amount of time.
Okay, so tell us about where you're from and what prompted you all to choose LMU.
We're from Lima, Ohio. My daughter wanted to come south. She wanted a small school, so she actually did a lot of work on the internet, and we made about 6 different college visits down this way, and she loved LMU.
So when did you all choose LMU?
Last summer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What is she going to go into? What is her field of study going to be?
Math education.
So now being a mama, how do you feel being here today, knowing that your daughter is going to be 5 hours away at college?
I'm happy for her. She's so excited. When we came down in September for the overnight orientation, she just loved it and felt like she was at home. And so I'm going to miss her, but I'm happy for her.
The day continued with a showcase on the 3rd floor of Math and Science that included presentations from departments within the university. Check-in stations were also provided for the families during the event, along with complete tours of the university. We would like to welcome these students and look forward to seeing them all this fall. Saturday afternoon, a portion of State Route 32, also known as U.S. Highway 25E, was designated in honor of a local businesswoman and philanthropist, Eleanor Yoakam. The designation took place in an afternoon ceremony inside the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum. Designating the portion of State Route 32 to Yoakam was State Representative Jerry Sexton.
I said earlier, Eleanor started working on getting this road 4-lane about 40 years ago. And when I was trying to think about, what could I do to bring recognition or some way honor her for what she's done, I was driving down Highway 25E. I was driving on this beautiful road, and I thought, I just bet Eleanor Yoakam had something to do with this. Jesse Seal was with me, and we discussed it, and I looked into it, and I found out that she did. Now, in her humble way, if you ask her about it, she'll just say, I'm just glad to be a small part of that road. But I want you to know she's a major part of it. And I've done enough research to know that she had a great big hand in it. And the commissioner, as he said, he could tell a lot of stories that, I believe he really did run when he saw her coming. She was a woman on a mission, and so that's why we're here today. And I'd like to ask her son and her daughter, Rob and Stephanie, if they would come up for the presentation of the sign.
The portion will be designated the Eleanor Yoakam Highway. Other dignitaries on hand to celebrate the event were Congressman Jimmy Duncan, Chairman of the LMU Board of Trustees, OV Pete DeBusk, Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey, and among others, former Governor Don Sundquist. The signs designating the portion of the highway can be seen along the route. Coming up this weekend at the Nantahala Outdoor Center, just inside North Carolina, they are inviting the public to come out and celebrate Olympic Day for the upcoming Summer Olympics. LMU Community TV News had the privilege to meet a former Olympic gold medalist, so please allow me to introduce Joe Jacoby.
So this is the Olympic gold medal that my canoe partner Scott Strasbaugh and I won at the 1992 Olympic Games in Spain. It's the first gold medal that the Americans ever won in the sport of whitewater canoe slalom, and it has been the only one to this point. We're hopeful that Michal could change that this summer. Listen, when you prepare for the Olympic Games, what you're really preparing for is to do the very best you can. This is something that is like bonus. It's extra. You can never prepare for just it. You prepare to do the best you can. What I think is great about having this gold medal today is just that opportunity to share it with people. We bring it to presentations, we bring it to our media tours and outlets, and the more people that get a chance to hold it and see it and say, hey, that's comes from the sport of canoe kayak. That medal came out of something that started at the Nantahala Outdoor Center. It's very cool. For the national anthem itself and that medal ceremony, I gotta tell you, yes, it's emotional. I've lived it two different ways. One as an athlete. The moment goes by very quickly. The second time was as a commentator for NBC at the Olympic Games, where you're trying to get people so excited about it, where it is the spectators that are getting very excited about this. Yeah. Will he or won't he? Yeah. And for the athlete, they're never thinking, will I or won't I? It's just moving forward and trying to do better every time you get on the water. Just try to get better in small increments, and at the end of the day, you control what you can control. You can't control your competition. You can't control what the other guy's going to do. Right. So this really truly equates with that ability to let go and come back to what's important. Whether you do that a week before the Olympic Games or you do it seconds before you leave the start gate, that ability to leave it all behind, to let go, to reconnect with what's truly important, your relationship with the water, your relationship with the river, that's how these things come along.
Jacoby tells us more about the sport that won him and his teammate the 1992 gold.
Round poles that are hung from wires above the gate, and the idea is to go as quickly as you can through the poles without touching the poles with your boat, your body, or paddle. If you touch the poles, then you get penalty seconds added to your time. 2 seconds if you touch the gate, 50 seconds if you miss it altogether. It is one of the most exciting sports on the Olympic program. People just love to watch it. It almost seems like one of these winter Olympic gravity sports on the Summer Olympic program. It's very exciting.
And finally, he tells us what it was that drew him to the very popular water sport.
I grew up on the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., and I started at a summer camp just outside of the D.C. area where canoeing was an activity. Started on calm water and then slowly began to progress and qualify in my camp to go out on river trips on Potomac River, and started with smaller whitewater and then increasingly bigger whitewater with a little bit more volume and a little bit more intensity. And it just became something I enjoyed doing with my friends. It was never that idea like, oh, I'm gonna go win a gold medal in the sport. It is just something, and to this day, it's more important who I paddle with than what I accomplish on the water.
Over the next few weeks, we will be bringing you more updates from Jacoby on the upcoming Summer Olympics. But don't go anywhere, because we've got an update on the newest 5K that is coming up this weekend on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University right after these messages.
College. It can seem a million miles away. But what if you could get help with your tuition expenses? Get help filling out all those applications and finding a major that fits. All of a sudden, the impossible becomes possible. Visit collegefortn.org today. College. You can get there from here.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
The feature film Above Suspicion began filming in Harlan last Wednesday and will continue to be filmed in the area until early July. The feature film is in need of people ages 18 years or older, all ethnicities, especially those in law enforcement training or background, and they are also looking for cars that have been made between 1970 to 1985. Friday, we sent Joseph Lewis and Adam Crawford to Harlan to check out the sites surrounding the film of Above Suspicion. As you can see, there is not yet much happening, but as the summer continues, Harlan and surrounding communities can expect to see much more activity. Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones and Terminator Genesis, along with Jack Houston of The Longest Ride and Boardwalk Empire, have signed on to play the leading roles. If you are interested in becoming a paid extra for Above Suspicion, go to Facebook and search TW Casting, where all of the extras needed for the film are posted. If you wish to send a general submission, email a recent photo of yourself along with your age, height, weight, wardrobe sizes, a description of any tattoos, and the location of the tattoos to abovesuspicionextras@gmail.com. It's a family event where all can learn their genealogical history and heritage and also to see the lifestyles of our pioneer ancestors with demonstrations by craftsmen and women and military reenactors. The Genealogy Jamboree is not limited to the families that came throughout Cumberland Gap, but it includes all families of the United States of America. The 6th annual Genealogy Jamboree and Pioneer Day took place over the weekend, and it promised to exceed all expectations on the streets of historic Cumberland Gap for the popular event. The festival has been given that extra stamp of approval by being named a Southeast Tourism Society Top 10 Events of the Southeast for the month of June.
We are one of 2 genealogy book companies that travels throughout the United States. This year I've been to Salt Lake City, Utah for a big conference already. We've been to Oklahoma one time. We've been to 3 places in Texas, and we will be going to New Mexico later in the year. So basically we stay in the Southwest, but we had been told about this, never done an outdoor event before, And we decided, what the heck? Never been to Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, which is gorgeous. We didn't have anything going, and so we loaded up our trailer, which we carry about 3,000 titles with us. And that's what people will see here. Everything from how to start doing genealogy to a lot of the material you'll need to do the genealogy once you get started. Genealogy is called a blue hair disease. That's because you normally don't start until you're at least in your 50s. There's a few exceptions. It's somewhat expensive because traveling is expensive. You get started more or less out of curiosity. That's how I got started. That's how a lot of the people that I talk to get started. Where did my people come from? And when you get right down to it, we stopped in Rome, Georgia on the way up here, and my wife finds out she's kin to half the county. The big button now is DNA, and we've done the DNA and we've done the autosomal, and we know where our ancestors came from because it's going to tell you if you've got Native American blood. In my case, I'm 100% European, but it's a very interesting hobby.
The Jamboree was brought to life one day by a couple of local guys just sitting and pondering upon a front porch. The Cumberland Gap, Tennessee Genealogy and History Group is open to anyone wanting to join and promote the recordings of pioneers and their descendants with the goal of preserving and recording Cumberland Gap's history. To join, you can visit their website at www.genealogyjamboree.us. It is the hope of Arts in the Gap to become an annual destination for passionate and aspiring artists from the region and beyond, where you may explore your creativity in the beautiful and inspiring environment of Cumberland Gap. The impressive painting workshop will begin June 14th through 16th with ages 6 to 9 from 9 a.m. to 12, then ages 10 to 12 from 1 to 4. This Saturday, June 18th, is the Cumberland Mountain Music Show that is held in the Cumberland Gap, or the LMU Convention Center at the heart of Cumberland Gap. The doors open at 6:30 and the show gets underway at 7:30. You're invited to head on down to the Gap and enjoy a great night of music and fun. The Appalachian Young Writers Workshop is scheduled for June 19th through 25th and is a week-long residential program for high school-age students from the Appalachian area and beyond. Clayham Building for 1st through 5th grade students will be held July 11th through 14th. If you have any questions, you can email Darnell Arnault at darnell.arnault@lmunet.edu or call 423-869-7085 or visit the LMU homepage and click on Arts in the Gap. The Physician Assistant Class of 2017 at LMU DCOM will present its first Sundown Run Down 5K race this Friday, June 17th. Registration for the race will begin at 7 o'clock and the race will begin at 7:30 in the parking lot of DCOM. The Sundown Run Down 5K, formerly known as the PA Light the Night 5K, benefits Servolution Health Services in Speedwell. Servolution Health Services is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation that began as the response to the tremendous need for primary, dental, and mental health care for the underserved within the region. Medical professionals volunteer at the clinic to provide services to the community. Runners will take a 3.1-mile course and walkers will complete a 1-mile course. Registration for adults is $35 for runners and $20 for walkers. Registration fee includes entry into the race with chip timing, a Sundown Run Down 5K t-shirt, and 2 glow-in-the-dark bracelets and a necklace. To register or for more information, visit www.sundownrundown5k.com or you can visit the same website to make a donation. We'll keep it right here on LMU Community TV News as Adam Haley brings you the very latest in the world of sports from around the region and the campus.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family?
This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort...
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry.
Go long, son!
It's always worth it.
Whoa! Master!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Welcome back. The LMU camps are in full swing now with the basketball teams working through their mini camps, the LMU baseball youth camp, and the LMU tennis camps going on this week. Coming up later this week, the LMU men's basketball team will be holding their second team camp of the summer. The team camps hosted teams from 6 different states in 3 different divisions: varsity, junior varsity, and middle school. Each team is guaranteed a minimum of 7 games with a single elimination tournament concluding on Saturday. Coming up on Sunday, the men's basketball team will be hosting their first elite camp of the summer for high school students. Registration for this camp is $75 and will include position-based individual skills workouts and 5-on-5 games. Now, if you missed this camp this weekend, don't worry. This will not be the only elite camp this summer held by the men's basketball team. Their next one will be happening on August the 7th. To see a complete list of camps being held by LMU Athletics or to find out more information about the camps, go to LMURailsplitters.com, hit the Fan Central tab at the top of the page, and go to camps. The Stanley Cup Finals came to an end Sunday night with the Pittsburgh Penguins winning their 4th Stanley Cup in program history with a 3-1 victory over the San Jose Sharks to win the series 4-2. It is the Penguins' first Stanley Cup title since 2009. Captain Sidney Crosby was named playoff MVP for the first time in his career after recording 2 assists in Game 6. The Sprint Cup Series was in the Irish Hills of Michigan this past weekend for the Firekeepers Casino 400. Joey Logano started on the pole and proved early on that he was going to be the class of the field. However, Logano would have to prove his muscle late in the race as he would go head-to-head with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson on a restart. But Logano pulled away from Elliott and Larson to pick up his first win of the season. Elliott took second, followed by Larson, Brad Keselowski, and Kevin Harvick. Logano became the 10th different winner this season and has all but locked himself in the chase. The Sprint Cup Series will now take the week off before heading west for the winding turns of Sonoma Raceway. The Tennessee Smokies will finish up their final homestand of the first half of the season on Monday and Tuesday when they host the Chattanooga Lookouts. Going into Monday, the Lookouts have taken 2 of the first 3 games in this series. Monday night's game will start at 7:05 and Tuesday's game will begin at 12:05. The Smokies will then finish the week and the first half in Jackson, Mississippi, taking on the Southern League North winning Jackson Generals. To keep up to date with the Smokies, you can log on to SmokiesBaseball.com. Now that's all for sports, but to let you know who won the box office this weekend, here's Joseph Lewis.
Hello, I'm Joseph Lewis, bringing you all the latest information in the world of movies. Tops at the box office this weekend were led by The Conjuring 2, James Wan's sequel to his 2013 supernatural horror hit The Conjuring, taking $40 million in its debut, a number comparable to the $41 million opening of the original nearly 3 years ago. Critics and audiences have responded positively to the film, which by all accounts retains the thrills and atmosphere of its predecessor while spinning a new kind of ghost story. Following at number 2 was newcomer Warcraft, Duncan Jones' long-awaited big-screen adaptation of the popular video game series, taking $24 million its first weekend out. Although this is a solid starting figure, the film has quite a ways to go toward recouping its sizable $160 million budget, a task made more challenging due to the film's niche content and complex mythology, as well as the fact that it has fared rather poorly in critical circles. And rounding out the top 3 was yet another new release, Now You See Me 2, the follow-up to 2013's magic-based action caper, taking $23 million for the weekend, a number which nearly matches the $29 million opening of the previous film. Despite an impressive cast of A-listers, critics have been even less kind to this entry than the last, the general consensus being that the story piles on unexpected twists and turns to an unconvincing extent. Dropping quickly after 1 week to number 4 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the sequel to 2014's big-screen reboot of the franchise, adding $14 million onto its now $61 million domestic gross. Helmed by music video director Dave Green and once again starring Megan Fox as reporter April O'Neil, this installment in the franchise has been cited by many as being truer to the upbeat spirit of the source material than its predecessor. At number 5, similarly falling fast, was X-Men Apocalypse, adding a low $10 million onto its now $136 million domestic gross. Although the film has already turned a profit in light of its $478 million worldwide total, its domestic performance has been far slower than many X films of the past, and Apocalypse still has some mountains to climb if it hopes to match the astounding numbers pulled by Days of Future Past just 2 years ago. Coming in at number 6 was Me Before You, pulling another $9 million toward its $36 million domestic total, a strong take considering the other larger-scale fare currently saturating the multiplexes. A romantic drama starring Game of Thrones Emilia Clarke and The Hunger Games Sam Claflin, the film seems to have won audiences and a portion of the critical community over, thanks in large part to the chemistry between its leads. At number 7 was the Angry Birds movie, the animated action-adventure making of itself a somewhat surprising success story, as this weekend it added $6 million onto its now $98 million domestic gross, a figure which in itself makes up a considerable portion of the film's $312 million worldwide total. These earnings are due in some capacity to the fact that there are currently no other movies in theaters geared toward very young children. Alice Through the Looking Glass continued to bring in disappointing business for Disney, placing at number 8 on the chart and adding $5 million onto its relatively low $62 million domestic gross. At number 9 was Marvel's Captain America Civil War with $4 million, and finishing out the top 10 once again was Disney's hugely successful live-action adaptation of The Jungle Book with $2.7 million. The story in limited release this week was Love and Friendship, the latest character-based comedy from writer-director Whit Stillman, previously responsible for Metropolitan and The Last Days of Disco. A tongue-in-cheek adaptation of Jane Austen's Lady Susan, the film stars Stillman's regular leading ladies Kate Beckinsale and Chloe Sevigny, and has been greeted overwhelmingly by critical acclaim. Playing on 826 screens courtesy of Roadside Attractions, the film drew $1.5 million for the weekend. Expect the box office to be shaken up considerably in the coming days, which see the release of Pixar's highly anticipated sequel Finding Dory, alongside the Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart starring comedy Central Intelligence. That's all for today in the world of movies. I'm Joseph Lewis.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family?
This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything.
Oh, sorry. Go along, son!
it's always worth it.
Whoa! Master!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you're beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. The whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And that is going to do it for this week's LMU Community TV News.
I'm Adam Haley. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again on Thursday.
For everyone here at LMU Community TV, I'm Ashley Collingsworth. Have a great week.